The Western Pacific region of the Design Build Institute of America presents the second of its series of video presentations entitled BIM Makes the Design Build Advantage Even Better. This presentation was recorded live on April 17, 2012 at the Biltmore Hotel in Los Angeles. Presenting were Dave Francis from Southland Industries and Jim Youngblood, a consultant to Los Angeles Community College District.
The number one question here is, BIM, what is it, okay? And to us, it's a term that's way overused. And the biggest problem is everyone has their own definition of what BIM is. And it is different to everyone at different applications and at different stages of the process. It doesn't come in a box. You don't buy it in software. It's something that's unique to every company. But the real biggest factor about BIM is it's really promoting collaboration. It's how to get everyone's ideas into one system there and use it. And it's not just modeling, okay? The 3D aspect is a really good benefit to it, but it's information, and that's the biggest thing we're trying to stress, is how do we take this information, utilize it, and continue with this information, okay? The eventual goal as we see this thing progress, you're gonna see facility management and maintenance. That's the real target goal. That's where Jim's pretty near and dear to his heart here, is the facility maintenance. And the use of modeling allows us to look at some things and identify issues before it even gets to the field. It's a lot cheaper to fix on paper than it is when it's out in the field. And the owners are going out there and everyone's telling them they need to have this, but they've got a legitimate question. What do I need it for, and what do I want to buy, okay? What am I buying, And I think we're seeing it in specifications these days. We're seeing it in the RFPs. Everyone puts that term BIM in there, but okay, what do you want? And there's some things out there we're going to try and go over today and identify the value and waste in it, okay? And our company, Southland Industries, is very big on lean construction. So the whole thing is, it's a wide open process that we see a lot of waste in. People go running down the road. It's got some really cool technology, got some really sharp people doing it. But the problem is they're kind of running off doing things that we need to identify. Is there value in this process, okay? Yes, we got this really cool 3D picture, we got some information out of it, but now what happens to it? What other values did we see to it? And I think that's one of the big things we're really trying to get to. So our goals here, obviously, we're trying to identify the value of BIM to each user. We're going to talk about constructions plans, pool planning, BIM execution plans, what the value is to you, target goals, startup maintenance, BIM coordination, prefab, obviously, streamlining coordination meetings, clash detection strategies.
Oops.
That's good.
Too fast?
No, you're there. You're good. And so obviously the first thing is the value of this thing. We're trying to identify the intent of the client, okay? And I think as every one of you guys in your industry are up against this right now. What do these people really want? And from an owner standpoint, what are they asking for? What's the value in it to them? And then the internal intent. And when I talk about the internal intent, we, typically we're grouped up with a GC, and from our standpoint, our target, our goal is 100% design build. That's Southland's mantra, okay? So trying to be the 100% design build it's getting on with the right team and getting direct with the owner, getting direct with the GC, and getting that good team together so you can do an IPD approach. I mean, we've got a few projects going on right now. The Sutter job up north is probably the most famous job as far as the introduction to IPD, but we have a few down south here we're working on. Temecula Valley Hospital, we have one going with UHS, and they sought us out specifically because of that process. They wanted that process in place. Part of the thing is design coordination versus construction, and there is a difference, and this is where everyone's struggling. We're not just talking about models, we're talking about understanding the process of coordination and what happens during the design, because the design has a lot of conceptual and schematic points at it, that these things are done because we are still trying to work things out and finalize the design. The struggle the industry's having right now is we threw this modeling coordination in here and the construction element moved up. And so you have people that are trying to work on real stuff while other guys are still playing. I mean, let's be honest, they're still, I shouldn't use playing, but schematic is the best word I can say right now. Because those days, we put out 30% drawings, not because we want to put 30% plan views out. Our preference would be to work out all our flow sheets, okay? But it's something the owner wants to see to identify the process. That's typically what it is. There's really not too much value to us in that respect from a design build HVAC outfit and plumbing. But the same respect, we have to put that out. The problem is every time we put something in a model, everyone assumes it's real. Okay, if we draw a pipe, we draw a duct. If we put it out there, the way electricians work is electricians use detailers. The electrical designer's not drawn, it's a detailer. So he's drawing conduits, assuming we're where we need to be. Same thing with fire protection. That guy got pushed up on the front. He's never been there before. But from our standpoint, the guy we really need up front is the framing guy. We want the architectural design to be developed to that level. So we are missing these elements, which I consider non-negotiables.
The biggest challenge here that you may be hearing is the role of this main orchestrator in this whole process. You know, and unfortunately, there's a new technology. A lot of people don't know how to click the buttons, and so a lot of times you're sticking a 27-year-old kid on that. You know, if I turned to you and said, would you have that kid be your superintendent on the project? Hell no. Would you have him your schedule? No, he doesn't know anything. But he's running this virtual work, and you can't see the waste because nobody's understands how to start reporting and getting performance metrics on the teams as they're ongoing. You can walk the work. If a plumber put his stuff in there and he had to put it in there 5 different times, that's 5 times the install cost, and that's happening all the time in these models, and it's just the waste is just killing it, and the CFOs and the executives are seeing bleeding numbers coming in, and you know, I know they're going, BIM doesn't work. No, guys, it's the process. You guys haven't thought about what the hell, how you're attacking this thing, the approach.
The key factor you gotta keep in mind there, level of development. Everyone's at a different level of development, and everyone wants to turn around and say, okay, well, here's our 30, 60, 90% drawings, you should be at 100, 200, 300. No, it doesn't work that way, okay? Hopefully the structural guy is ahead of everyone else, because he's obviously probably the first guy out. His stuff's gonna be a little more solid than everyone else. With the advent of LEED, I can tell you from the HVAC side, we're always playing with the duct sizes, because at the end of the day, we're trying to get those LEED points there. And one of the easiest ways for us to get LEED points is we make the duct bigger, slow down the air, lower the horsepower. Okay, it's games like that you play. But like I said, once we've modeled a duct there, everyone assumes it's for real. So.
And I'm sorry, that's where I was going a little bit with that main orchestrator who's handled the whole symphony. That person really needs to know, hey, I can let people go here. Here's the intent of that information that's in place. Here's how it's to be used. Is it good to go for other people to start building off of, or is it still kind of a work in process? That is a crucial role, that main orchestrator.
It's a design. Designs have always been a working, fluid process, and the struggle the industry is having is trying to say, no, the process ends here. Well, it's never ended there. I mean, we've gone to the point where we're putting out 100% drawings. We know that the architect gives us a background, and we got 2 weeks to finalize our stuff. Well, he's still playing with the background for those 2 weeks. You know it, we know it, we all know it, we all see it. And then we get backgrounds out on the next set of drawings. These are the kind of things that I don't know how we're really ever going to finalize that process, and you don't want to stifle the process. That's the flip side to it. The other part, though, I think the bigger thing we're seeing is, we'll talk about more, is scheduling, how to tie the stuff into the schedules. So the key thing is with Lean is we want more collaboration, and that's what BIM does do. It's also the sharing the information, the teamwork, and then also what we talked about here, virtual design construction. So the key word is waste, all right? That is the number one thing that Lean Construction is about, is how to eliminate waste, how to streamline the process, okay? And that's kind of one of our heart and souls here, is how to identify it. So we've identified what we'll call the 7 ways of coordination there. So obviously, number 1, overproduction, over modeling and coordination of items. Part of the problem we see on the design side is we get guys that want to run these meetings and they want to do coordination clash detection in design models that are 50%. What's the value in it? Okay, let's identify where the value is and what we need to be looked at. We can look at some big elements, sure, but the process is still going along. Not everyone is at that same stage. So the fact that we're just doing this stuff over and over when it's really not ready to go, idling files, some things that we've run across in the industry, and what you're finding out is this is cool technology, but these files are getting really big and unruly, and you're seeing a lot of IT technology. Everyone talks about the cloud and all this stuff. The technology is how to control the information, okay? So where we used to have files that are somewhat reasonable, we've had to change complete processes just because of the size of these files. We've got people, everyone's got the hottest machines going, And we're in the cycle again. The hardware and software, or hardware's not keeping up with the software again. You know, that's the next thing you'll see. Idle time waiting because of lack of information or schedule. That's a real big issue because BIM is all about information, okay? So yes, there's this graphical 3D model. BIM can be just a box on a sheet, okay, or in the model there, but it's also the information that box contains. And the whole thing is for us to draw it or put it in before it needs to be there is what we consider a waste of time or effort, okay? The transportation, uploading, downloading files not needed. That's just more of an inherent process here. I mean, what you'll see is the transfer of information. There's a lot of softwares out there, people trying to streamline the methodology of getting this information. You know, I'm talking things like ProjectWise and Buzzsaw, softwares like that. There's a bunch of them on the market. Processing, the modeling items not using coordination or clash detection. So part of the thing you'll see in models sometimes is they do some really amazing presentation things, but we talk about value here, okay? So I don't need to see every single little hole on a piece of strap on the back of a strap for holding up my clips on the domestic waters, okay? There's no value in that kind of stuff, but it slows the model down because it's just the way the software operates. Everyone wants to be an artist, but for us, it's providing time and value. I mean, for us, a box with an in and out would work just fine. Okay, you don't need to see the vents, all the other funny things on it. Motion, so mobilization and partially full-time on-site meetings. So part of the things you'll see is people have on-site coordination meetings. So I just took this guy out of his atmosphere and spent half a day traveling to a job, did his meeting, and came back. We lost it. We lost half a day just to travel. So these are some things we're looking at technology-wise. You guys are all experiencing go-to meetings and stuff like that. There's a big kind of issue in the industry of what is the better process. Is it better to have people on site there? And you've seen the big room scenario where they want the whole team there, okay? And we'll talk a little bit about that later, about plus and minuses of the big room.
Some of that I feel some of that may come down to the team's experience with each other. Is it a high-performance team that's worked over and over and over? Is there some team building chemistry that we need to kind of get in there, you know, get that kumbaya momentum moving? So is it 3-4 face-to-face big room meetings, and then it's, you know, head to an online meeting? You know, kind of what is it? It's kind of conditional to the team. It's conditional to everybody's experience. It's conditional to a lot of things, you know. So it's getting these options open to everybody is I think what's important.
Exactly. And then obviously DevEx, modeling with bad information. So one of the things we see is because this hurry up process is we proceed on bad information or unapproved information, okay? And that goes across the board. You know, when you're trying to design stuff and we're picking out equipment and we're picking out equipment based on information that's not settled yet, now all of a sudden we're going back and we're changing it. It is part of the process, but the whole thing is, you know, I'll tell you from our standpoint, is always that struggle. When to detail? When is it conceptual, and when can we really proceed on making it exact? And I can tell you, I've been doing this over 20 years, and in our company, we're still struggling with that magic moment. And it kind of varies from job to job. You basically, it's a comfort level. Are you comfortable with the information? You're comfortable where it's at? Okay, it's time to go. If we're not, we're going to pull the reins back, and we're going to kind of sit on a little bit, wait till this thing kind of grows and we're a little more comfortable with the information that's being developed.
The more savvy teams get, they'll start to come up with QA/QC, you know, ways to validate and verify the quality of the information. But you know, that may be, you know, your fourth, fifth, seventh job, depending on your user, how tech savvy they are, and how much they really truly understand the process.